Hey y'all, I cannot wait to show you how to make tiered tray decor from free printables. I'm Amy Green from Amy and Art Designs, and the link to those free printables is down in the description. But before we get started, I want you to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and make sure to leave a comment to tell me what you want help with next, because I'm here to help you. All right, y'all, on to the video. So hey, before we get started, I want to give you a list of everything we're going to use, and this list will also be in the description, but we're going to use these 4x4 wood blanks from Amazon, some Mod Podge. I've got satin. We're going to use white acrylic paint and black acrylic paint to coordinate with our printables. You can use whatever colors you want to go with your printable. I've got a craft iron, a foam brush or a sponge brush, paint brushes, the free printables, which the link's in the description, and some parchment paper. So let's go ahead and get into it. Hey y'all, so let's talk about how to make these tier tray pieces from free printables. Now, you can get these free printables in the description below. There's a link, and you'll be able to download them all. There's 7 in all. I'm going to show them to you. So we've got October 31st. Hey boo. Happy Halloween. Trick or Treat, October 31st, which is the same as this first one, but just without any gingham behind it. Okay. And then the last one is Fly High and Witches In. And I did some kind of boho feeling themes because it's really what people are doing this Halloween. We've got a lot of like boho type feeling decor for Halloween. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you the difference between the printing. If you can see here, this is printed on regular printer paper. And see how vibrant that is, but let's compare it to this one. And you see that's a little more muted. So I'm going to use the printer paper to make these just because it's more vibrant. I've got an HP inkjet. Yours may print differently, but just know if yours come out kind of muted, try a different kind of paper. Okay, so let me show you what we're using. We're going to use these are 4x4 wood blanks from Amazon, and I love them, and the quality I think is great. Most of the corners are perfect. There's a little gap there, but we're not going to be able to see that once we paint. The back is great. These turned out great. I don't really feel like I need to sand them or anything, so we're just gonna get started painting. So I'm gonna do the Fly High. We're gonna do this one today, Fly High. So I'm gonna put that aside, and we're gonna go ahead and paint this. I'm just using FolkArt Acrylic Paint. And if I was using cardstock on the top, I wouldn't paint it, but I don't want any of this wood tone to show through. So I am going to paint that white on the top. So I'm just going to speed this up, but as you can see, I'm painting the top of my sign, and then I'm going to go around and paint the sides. And don't worry if you get some on the top. I'm going to show you how to fix that here in just a second. The important thing is to like lift your brush away as you get to the edge, and that keeps you from getting it across the top. Okay, so I'm finished painting it and it's dry. You can see I got a little black here, so I'll show you how I'm just going to clean that up. This is just 320 grit sandpaper. I'm going to go along the edge. And then if I need to put a little bit more white there, I will. The black it'll come off. Okay, so that's off, and it's going to be covered up. So that's all you have to do. And they're nice and neat now. See how great my edges look. So we've got that. And so this is super dry and nice, and that's what I want. So the next thing we're going to do is get our Mod Podge. So you want to use like the satin or the matte for this step, because the glossy kind of doesn't work as great with the paper, I don't think. I just decided to give this a quick sand because I felt a bump. And this will make it like super, super smooth. So the paper goes on super smooth. Optional step there, y'all. Okay, so we've got that. And now I'm gonna put some matte Mod Podge just right across the top of this. And I just need like a nice coat. All right, y'all, I'm gonna speed this up so that you can see me quickly paint the Mod Podge on. Just take note that I'm making sure to get the edges and the corners. You wanna make sure you've got those covered really well so that your printable sticks when you adhere it. And then here in a second, I'm gonna get a heat gun out and I'm gonna dry this Mod Podge to the touch. I got this at Home Depot, but you can also get heat guns or crafting heat guns on Amazon, or you can just let it dry to the touch. Just sit it out overnight or for a few hours. Okay, so my Mod Podge has been put on here and it's dry to the touch. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the printable that I want to use. Oh, you're going to need some scissors. And I am going to line it up. And this one, the houses go across the bottom. So you want to make sure that you get it lined up pretty well because you're going to cut that. I think that's it. So instead of tracing, I am going to just fold it. And then I don't have to, worry about the pencil marks. Okay, so I'm going to speed this part up just a little bit, but I wanted you to see my process of how I go about just creasing the edges with my finger and then cutting out the printable. It's okay if it's a little bigger, which is probably better than it being a little smaller, because if it's a little smaller, then the wood underneath is going to show. But it doesn't have to be perfect, because I'll show you in a minute how we're going to fix any edges that hang over. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put this on top of our wood block that has our Mod Podge on it, and we're going to get it right where we want it, right? Line that up along the bottom. We're going to put our parchment paper on top, and then we're going to take our little craft iron, okay? And we are just going to iron this on. This is what I love this method, because it gets it nice and smooth, and I'm not worried about smashing, ripping my printable. I'm not worried about the wrinkles in the paper, because it goes on so nice. Okay, so we're going to speed this up just a little bit, but what I want you to see is that I'm going to check my corners, because that's the place that they're going to come up, the corners and the edges. So the thicker your paper is, the longer you have to hold that iron on it. I've got relatively thin paper, so it adheres pretty quickly. But again, just make sure that you're checking those edges and corners. There we go. Okay, so now that I've got this on here, I'm just going to sand around the edges. I'm using sandpaper because you can just push that. This is 320 grit sandpaper. And you can buy a sanding block if you want. But sanding blocks, in my opinion, are expensive, and you can get the same thing by pushing your finger across the edge, because all you really want to do is get this paper to come off right at the edge, right? That's it. And you do it with a sanding block, or you can do it with sandpaper. So, and I just fold my sandpaper into small sections and rip it. So it just saves a lot of money that way, because you can use it for so many different things, and then you're not getting like paint into your sanding block. And then, like, if I would take a piece of sandpaper that was full of black and rub it on here, then I would get black on my paper. But there we go. So that's done. So we are completely finished with the sign now, aside from sealing it. And I'm just going to wipe the top of it. So when I want this to be completely dry before I seal it. So I'm going to set it aside. I'm going to show you a sign I've already sealed. So this is the Happy Halloween one I did. And I did this earlier, and I put one coat of satin Mod Podge on there. And this just puts some protection, because it is paper, and you really don't want your paper to get dirty. You got little kids and they pick it up with chocolate on their hands and you are stuck. So let's go back over this one. I made this one earlier too, The Witch is In. This one I did in orange. I love the orange. So to get that color orange, guys, I did orange and brown. Honestly, I didn't have, I did a little brown in my orange to get that kind of, that color. So here's the Mod Podge. I just have a little bit of my brush and I'm just going to go put a light coat across the top and that's it. And then we'll let it dry and we'll have a nice seal on top. If you feel like after you do the first coat, you want to do a second coat, like knock yourself out. I am going to let that fly high sign sit before I go back over it because you don't want it to bubble, because it can bubble if it's not dry enough or if it's not adhered down well enough. So we've just got a nice thin coat on here. I'm going to push it down. Oops. And there you go. And we're going to let that dry. And then it will have a nice seal, okay? So, there you go. That is how to use these free printables to make these signs. Are these cute or what? And again, I'll put all the links in the tutorial. Amy Green with Amy and Art Designs. And thank you guys so much for being here and for crafting with me. Shoot me a message and tell me what you want to see next because I would love to help you on your crafting journey.